In time for summer. Thanks, Chelsea. Thank you all for your company this afternoon. It's now time for 9 News at 6.
Restrictions to ease within days, but not as much as hoped. Tonight, what it means in the lead up to Christmas.
The announcement shattering many business owners who are pleading to serve more customers.
Grave fears for a man missing in Lake Alexandrina as his friend is plucked from the water after more than 3 hours.
Wake-up call. A grass fire threatens homes north of Adelaide as temperatures soar above 40.
And masking up. Authorities on hand as thousands flock to grab a Black Friday bargain.
This is Adelaide's 9 News.
Good evening. They were introduced to combat the growing threat from the Parafield cluster, but with no new cases today, authorities have confirmed some restrictions will be wound back within days.
A number of strict rules will remain for now, but those in charge are adamant we're still on track for families to be able to celebrate Christmas together.
Leaving Adelaide for Melbourne became a little easier for some travellers today, with final confirmation our tough border restrictions on Victorian arrivals will lift on Tuesday.
My daughter lives in Melbourne. I've got my little grandson there. I was just hoping it was really going to happen so that they can come back.
I've been trying to get to my father for a few months. He's on end of life, so I took a chance by booking now.
I haven't seen my family since March, so it's been a long time, so yeah, can't wait to get home.
The border change just one of a number of coronavirus restrictions to relax on December 1.
And they track a pathway back to that normal situation by Christmas.
From Tuesday, capacity limits on venues will be scrapped, but the current 1 person per 4 square metres indoors will stay, while outside it will return to 1 per 2 square metres and stand-up drinking will be allowed.
Indoors is much more of a risk. So when you are outdoors and you've especially got a bit of a breeze, those droplets tend to dissipate and are not so likely to get onto other people.
Businesses will also need to have the state's new QR code system in place for contact tracing. Private functions, funerals and weddings can now all have up to 150 people. Dancing and drinking while standing at weddings also allowed. But there's no budging yet on private gatherings, with only 10 people still allowed at your home.
I know that this can be quite difficult for people, particularly going into Christmas, but we will definitely be reviewing this once we get closer to Christmas Day.
Community sport will restart from Tuesday, but with modified schedules.
So that we can minimise the chance of infection and transmission.
And as for masks,
will be required when you can't maintain that 1.5 metres worth of physical distancing.
The Police Commissioner conceding today's changes to restrictions aren't what was initially planned.
We didn't envisage that we'd be taking these sort of mid-steps today. We were hopeful that we'd be announcing for 1 December going back to where we were prior to mid-November.
These revised restrictions likely to be in place for another 2 weeks, December 14 shaping as the day when the so-called COVID normal will kick back in.
We're asking the community to do as much as they can over the next 2 or 3 week period to help us eliminate this particular cluster and get back to where we want to be prior to Christmas.
The Premier has also asked the Prime Minister to suspend international flights from arriving in Adelaide until December 7. It follows the decision to overhaul SA's hotel quarantine program. But the state government can't yet say when its new medical quarantine facility will open as part of the shake-up or exactly where it will be.
All right, Rory, thank you. Meantime, those in the state's hospitality industry have slammed today's announcement, saying the density rules making it impossible for businesses to survive. They are desperate for a reprieve, saying it's been a tough year that will only be tougher if they can't serve more people in the lead up to Christmas.
Goodwood restaurant owner Marty Ardle was hoping to open his doors on Tuesday, but what's the point?
We've got no revenue to survive, and it's been a long time now. We're into sort of 9 months.
Marty, like thousands in the hospitality sector, was hoping to recoup some of the losses from a horror year, but the 1 person per 4 square metre rule means he can only have 6 people inside.
It's shattering. This is peak season. This is the time where every hospitality business is up and going.
Instead, most are at their knees and have been forced to cancel functions. Luke Donaldson owns the Moseley in Glenelg.
Can I get 2 pints of pirate black?
He says his staff are anxious and, importantly, out of work.
Our focus throughout's always been our staff and their well-being, and it's just really hard not being able to tell them what's going to be coming for them in the coming weeks.
It's a complete disregard for the hospitality industry at a time when they've just come through the worst trading period in their entire existence.
There's around 20,000 casual staff in the industry in Adelaide. All have an uncertain lead up to Christmas.
So I think most people will be very pleased that we are lifting gradually those restrictions which will get people back to work in South Australia.
I'm far from pleased. No, it's not good enough.
The restrictions are tough on every hospitality venue in the state, but it's the venues in regional South Australia where it hurts the most.
Just makes you sit back and go, how are we going to get through that next month? How are we going to be open next week? It's just really tough.
The industry wants restrictions to return to the levels before this parafield outbreak. The government has flagged December 14 as the date.
I think the vast majority of South Australians will see very clearly that we are lifting those restrictions gradually and carefully so that we don't have a second wave in our state.
Mike Lorrigan, 9 News.
While there were no new cases of COVID today, South Australians are being urged to remain on high alert. Edward Godfrey has the details. And Edward, there are new places of concern for authorities.
There are, Kate. Health officials continue to trace all of the cases linked to the Parafield cluster in a bid to ensure it's definitely under control. The good news is the number of people with COVID in our state is on the way down. There are now just 23 active cases in South Australia. That's 13 less than yesterday. There are still around 5,000 people who remain in quarantine and they continue to be monitored and tested. Authorities have identified 2 new locations of concern. They are the Arndale Shopping Centre and the Port Adelaide Plaza. People who visited these sites at specific times on certain days are urged to get tested. Now, authorities are extremely pleased with the testing levels, more than 12,000 getting swabbed yesterday, which takes the total for the past 10 days well above 100,000. New clinics have been set up, including one at Wayville, so that people can be tested out of the extreme heat. Testing at many outdoor locations has been impacted by the conditions today. Authorities urging people to look online for opening hours, but not to think twice about getting swabbed.
Please keep it up. It's the one thing that every South Australian needs to do in the coming weeks is if you have even mild respiratory symptoms, go and get tested. If you've already had a test and there's a couple of weeks later you start to feel unwell again, go and get another test. Just because you've had one a week or so back doesn't mean if you get new symptoms you shouldn't have another test.
Health officials know continued high rates of testing is the key to ensuring there are no hidden cases in the community.
Edward, thank you. Well, 3 Adelaide schools closed down by the Parafield COVID cluster will reopen on Monday, but Year 9 students at Woodville High will remain excluded as they undergo 14 days of quarantine after a female classmate tested positive this week. Other year levels will be welcomed back next week after the school underwent 2 days of deep cleaning. Health authorities have also given the all clear for Roma Mitchell Secondary College and Mawson Lakes School to reopen on Monday after hundreds of students quarantined over potential exposure to coronavirus traced back to the Peppers Hotel and the Woodville Pizza Bar. Well, as we go to air tonight, there are grave fears for a kayaker who remains missing on Lake Alexandrina, south of Adelaide. He was on the craft with a friend who was incredibly plucked from the choppy waters alive.
Back on solid ground after spending more than 3 hours in the water, the young man is helped to shore by paramedics following his terrifying ordeal. But as he was being treated, the search continued for his missing friend. The pair was in an inflatable kayak in Lake Alexandrina near Malang when they got into trouble around 11:30 a.m. The alarm raised, prompting a major search on the water and from the air. The local Sea Rescue Squadron and Surf Lifesavers assisting police as friends kept watch from the shore. The breakthrough coming around 2:45, one of the men found by rescuers in the lake alive. The kayak the pair had been paddling has been recovered. 9 News has been told both men were good swimmers. The rescued man has been taken to Mount Barker Hospital, where he's tonight being treated for hypothermia. Those searching the massive lake holding grave fears for his friend, but not giving up hope. Will Crouch, 9 News.
Country Fire Service crews remain on high alert tonight after a grass fire came dangerously close to homes at Templars, north of Adelaide. Bryce Heaton is there. Bryce, firefighters are still on the scene.
They are, Brenton, and they're still working right now, just trying to shore up fire breaks and water down any hot spots to make sure this fire doesn't spark up again, as conditions remain very dangerous here this evening. Water bombers were deployed along with nearly 60 appliances as this fire raced towards farmhouses around this area. When the fire started around 1:45 this afternoon, temperatures were pushing 45 degrees. That, coupled with the fact that there were northwesterly winds, very blustery, very strong winds, it was a recipe for disaster. And the fire spread from just south of Templars on the Horrocks Highway and made its way towards the Tearley Highway. For locals, it brought up uncomfortable memories of the Pinery fires, which were 5 years ago, almost to the day. Take a listen.
Well, it was just over a paddock away from us, and you could see the flames metres high. But luckily the CFS and the farm units were very, very fast on the job.
As the fire burned out of control, an emergency warning was issued for people around the Templars, Roseworthy and Freeling areas to prepare to leave if things remained dangerous. Thankfully, that was called off as the fire was controlled around 2 hours after it started.
With the weather we're experiencing and that we're expecting tomorrow with the change, we want to make pretty damn sure that it doesn't get away from us overnight or early in the morning, particularly when the winds shift.
Crime scene investigators have been combing the area along the Horrocks Highway just south of Templars, trying to determine how the fire started. They're quite confident that that is in fact where it started, and CFS crews are warning that the danger hasn't passed. We're in for some more shocking conditions tomorrow. Kate?
Bryce, thank you. And as a dangerous heatwave grips the state, temperatures have soared to near record-breaking levels. Chelsea Carey, the heat began building quite early.
Yes, Kate, in Adelaide it was already 34 degrees by just 9:30 this morning, and as hot winds sent temperatures soaring, thousands flocked to the coastline to try to find some relief from the heat. Staying hydrated and wearing sunscreen, very important in these conditions, and people tried to find what shade they could. In the city, the temperature reached 40.6 degrees this afternoon. That is around 16 degrees hotter than average for this time of year, and the heat created hazy conditions across the suburbs, where in the north the temperature reached 43, and the Weather Bureau says the scorching conditions will persist a little longer.
Temperatures today and in particular tomorrow are expected to be very much above average. We're expecting temperatures to be around 12 to 16 degrees above average for this time of year, and we are also expecting or approaching some November all-time temperature records.
There have been shark sightings along Adelaide's coastline this week, and tomorrow fixed-wing shark patrols will take off, starting their summer duties to keep South Australians safe. And a cool change will roll through Adelaide tomorrow afternoon, bringing a shower or two and dropping temperatures back into the 20s on Sunday. Brenton?
Thank you, Chelsea. A court has heard a young woman who stabbed her best friend in the back is making good progress with her mental health treatment. Amber Rover was suffering undiagnosed schizophrenia when she attacked Zoe Fenn, leaving her with critical injuries at Renmark High School in July 2018. The 20-year-old found not guilty due to mental incompetence and ordered to reside at James Nash House. Rover now wants to move to a lower security facility, with the judge to make a decision at a later date.
Two brothers are lucky to be alive after a mid-air mishap forced them to land their light aircraft in an Adelaide Hills paddock. Incredibly, the pair walked away without a scratch. The pilot praised for dodging trees and cattle on the way down.
One very relieved pilot with his aircraft safely back on the ground. A turbulent end to his Joy flight, an engine failure prompting an emergency landing in an Adelaide Hills paddock, giving these neighbours quite the spectacle.
We heard this roar and then it started to pop, 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 and we looked over and we just caught a glimpse of him going through the trees and landed in the paddock.
It sounded like they had some fuel problems perhaps, or fuel pump problems.
The mid-air emergency unfolding just after 6:30 last night above Bugle Ranges near Mount Barker. With no airport in sight, Adrian Fitzgerald was forced to land in a paddock full of cattle.
It was dam, trees, rough ground, power lines,
fence lines,
so you've got to miss all of those things and get the plane on the ground and not bend it.
A plane crash averted. 9 News cameras there when the pilot and his brother Kieran, also on board, returned this morning to inspect the aircraft.
It was just a normal bloody landing safety precaution, that's it.
The body that registers this type of aircraft, Recreational Aviation Australia, wouldn't confirm if it will investigate what went wrong, while the incident has been reported to the Australian Transport Safety Bureau. Technicians now needing to inspect the plane to determine if it can fly out of the paddock. Regardless, it's given these neighbours an incredible story to tell.
We've been here for 40 years, it's nothing like that again.
Oliver Haig, 9 News.
COVID marshals have been out in force in Rundle Mall and suburban shopping centres, handing out face masks to shoppers cashing in on the Black Friday sales. Trading hours have been extended to help shoppers socially distance. Health authorities keeping watch to make sure everyone is doing the right thing.
A lesson in how to wear a face mask on the biggest shopping day of the year. Our Chief Public Health Officer among the COVID marshals handing out free face masks in Rundle Mall as Black Friday shoppers sifted through the sales. COVID safety at the forefront of the big day.
We've got extra security guards on, we have extra COVID marshals, we've got extra South Australian Police patrols, we've increased our cleaning regime.
Department stores too making sure expert advice is followed.
We've got wardens, we've also got social distancing measures throughout the store. We also have safety screens, we have PA announcements. We're ensuring that, we have sanitiser at every entrance.
While face masks aren't mandatory, they are being strongly encouraged. But even when they're free, not everyone wants to wear one.
Yeah, no, I didn't want it. Yeah, I don't think I need it.
We are trying to limit the numbers in shops, and that's been our SA health advice. But wearing the mask is certainly going to be a very good defence.
Shoppers didn't make the most of extended trading hours this morning. The mall quiet as stores opened an hour early, while Extinction Rebellion protesters made themselves known indoors at Marion, putting on a conga line to call for an end to mass consumerism. Today marks the city's longest ever day of shopping, with deals of up to 70% off.
Most people are anticipated to spend $375 this year shopping the Black Friday sales.
Well, Rundle Mall will stay open for Black Friday shoppers right up until midnight tonight. On the weekend, they will also have extended hours 9 to 5 here, and that should help with social distancing in the suburbs. Westfield Marion will also stay open tonight until midnight. Kate.
Georgia, thank you. Well, public transport commuters can expect major disruptions over the weekend with a number of rail line closures. The Belair, Outer Harbour and Grange lines will be closed as part of the electrification project, while the Seaford line will be closed between the city and Brighton for maintenance. All services on Saturday and Sunday will be affected, with substitute buses in place. Services are due to return to normal on Monday morning.
Warren Treadray has sport a little bit later on. Treaders, how are the Aussies going?
Well, let's just say the Aussies have had a great start to the summer, and it's only one day in. All the big names in the runs. We'll have the highlights ahead in sport. Plus, James Frawley reveals what brought him out of retirement. And the Bend locks in a Mother's Day special.
Thank you, Treaders. Well, his sentence shocked the state. Now the man responsible for a sickening attack on a young girl has had his sentence extended. We've got those details next. And Australian wine producers have been hit by huge tariffs in their most important market. The full story next.
Bats out of hell.
It's been a nightmare, an absolute nightmare.
This noisy colony moved into Kathy and Ray's backyard and won't leave.
It's just as if they're having a party.
No one's willing to help.
So they've taken matters into their own hands.
These bats have ruined my tropical paradise.
A current affair next.
Tonight.
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage.
The interview that changed the crown forever. Diana, in her own words.
It is the heart of the home. It's the heart of our family. We need it to last a long time.
We definitely make the whole process affordable and easy.
So to create the amazing look without the big prices, come to Bunnings. Bunnings Warehouse. Beautiful kitchens that look amazing.
Black November ends Sunday at Nick Scali. We must clear our floor stock and discontinued lines. Lounges reduced, dining tables reduced, dining chairs reduced, and much more. Limited stock ends Sunday. Black November at all Nick Scali stores. Hurry.
The Good Guys Black Friday sale is on now. This Technica dishwasher $395, 25% off this Chic fridge, 44% off this Acer Core i7 laptop, plus this Samsung 75-inch TV $1888. While stocks last, only at The Good Guys.
It's easy to tame your home loan with our lowest ever fixed rate. Switch to Police Credit Union and lock in a cracking 3-year fixed rate home loan. You could save thousands. Call, visit a branch or find us online today.
With self-basting Aussie turkeys and our classic turkey duck chicken trifecta, the Turducken. You can go full Christmas for less at Aldi.
A garden is more than just a garden. This isn't a flower garden, it's a meadow. And this is no backyard, it's a homestead. Ryobi, for all gardens, great and small. 1+ pole hedge, trimmer and pruner kits, $2.49 each, available at Bunnings Warehouse.
There's so many things that I can't touch on time. I'm all out of faith. You and me, Dara. This is how I feel. Wide awake and
We have a scourge upon our land. There's a woman with a crown.
Blood against blood.
Mary is our foe.
Crown against crown.
I shall meet force with force.
Margot Robbie.
What crown?
Guy Pearce.
This world is a brutal place.
A movie premiere like no other.
Should you murder me, you murder your queen.
Mary, Queen of Scots. Tonight 8:30 on 9.
A child sex predator will spend longer behind bars following an appeal by the state's top prosecutor. Tom Angley has the details. Tom, the Chief Justice, said the original sentence was too lenient.
He did, Brenton, and so did 2 other Supreme Court judges here today. They all agreed that pedophile Hamzy Barami should not have received the maximum 40% sentencing discount for his guilty pleas. Barami must now serve at least 5 years behind bars. That's instead of the 3-year minimum jail term he was given for the horrific abuse of a 10-year-old girl in a Blair Athol toilet block in April last year. The girl rode her bicycle to the park, Barami luring her into a cubicle and threatening her if she tried to escape. That girl then bravely telling detectives her story. Now in custody, Barami was bashed by a Rebels bikie. Today he was handed a 30% sentencing discount on appeal with a new head sentence of 7 years. Detectives who worked tirelessly on the case speaking outside court.
At the end of the day, we're just hopeful that the little victim lives a full and happy life. And with the right support, she goes on and gets to enjoy her future.
Barami showed no emotion as the judgment was handed down. With time served, he could be freed on parole in April 2024. Kate?
Tom Angley, thank you. The Defence Force has doubled down on calls for around 3,000 Special Forces soldiers who served in Afghanistan to be stripped of a military honour. Retired veterans say those who did the right thing should not be punished for allegations against a small group.
Retired Special Forces veterans pausing to remember their fallen comrades. A moment of sadness and reflection, now tinged with anger.
This knee-jerk reaction by the Chief of Defence Force to strip all over 3,000 Special Forces personnel for the action of 19 is not only disgusting, it's un-Australian.
After a damning report found evidence of war crimes and recommended 19 soldiers face criminal investigation for the unlawful killing of 39 Afghans, the Chief of Defence recommended the Governor-General take the meritorious unit citation from the Special Operations Task Group. Today, the Army Chief backed his boss.
If we knew then what we know now, the unit would not have received or been put forward for a meritorious unit citation.
If anyone should be losing their awards, it just needs to be focused on the individuals involved and not the many out there who have done the right thing.
Retired Commander Heston Russell started a petition to the Governor-General, which has now been signed by more than 40,000 people.
I wouldn't want any Defence Force member, serving men or women or veterans, to feel that anyone is looking at them differently. I'm certainly not.
The Chief of Army says nobody's been dismissed yet, but 13 members of the ADF face the prospect of losing their jobs following the inquiry. They've been given 14 days to respond to notices proposing to terminate their service.
We are all holding ourselves to account as an organisation and we'll work through this in a proper way.
Fiona Willan, 9 News.
The gloves are off in Australia's trade dispute with China, with Beijing today slapping a huge tariff on our wine exports, putting billions of dollars worth of sales in doubt. The government has called out the move, saying it's unjustified and unfair.
The wine industry reeling. Tonight, its most important market is under threat.
This is a very distressing time for many hundreds of Australian wine producers.
China's Ministry of Commerce says an investigation found some exporters are guilty of dumping cheap product and hurting the local industry. From tomorrow, many Australian wines will be hit with huge temporary tariffs, up to 200%.
We'll have the potential to close the market.
The news sending Treasury Wine Estates' share price plummeting before being placed in a trading halt.
China's decision today to impose tariff on the wine industry is deeply disappointing and disproportionate.
The Australian government says the wine industry has done nothing wrong and is vowing to defend it.
It is grossly unfair, unwarranted, unjustified.
It has 10 days to appeal the decision. Amid diplomatic tensions and after a series of hits on Australian exporters, the Trade Minister is fuming and calling a spade a spade.
The cumulative impact of China's trade sanctions against a number of Australian industries during the course of this year does give rise to the perception that these actions are being undertaken as a result or in response to some other factors.
For the industry on the front line, it's bewildering.
It's our highest price point market. I just cannot see any rationale to accuse us of dumping.
Kerry Yaxley, 9 News.
Westpac customers have had their savings slashed. The bank today announcing a rate cut. Westpac is the last of the big four banks to make the move. The maximum savings rate is now just 0.55%. There is some relief for customers aged between 18 and 29. Their rate will stay the same at 3%.
Concerns tonight over one of our most promising COVID vaccine candidates. We have those details next. Plus, an Aldi wine rampage leaves a $180,000 bill.
Australia's accident scandal. Why this family's now paying a huge price after a car ploughed into their home. A current affair next.
With the Mimosa Miami range, you can create your perfect outdoor setting anywhere. It's fully modular with removable panels, so you can change it to suit your space or your occasion. Create your perfect setting with the Mimosa Miami range, available at Bunnings Warehouse.
Last year, over 400,000 people joined Australia's largest super fund. Why?
To be with a top performer.
They've always worked hard to get me great returns. Well, for the low fees, of course.
Honestly, because not all funds are the same.
It's Australian, it's super, and it's yours when you join today.
A distracting new deal every day of November. Like a small cheeseburger meal with extra cheeseburger for $4. Only on the My Macca's app.
The Black Friday sale is finally here with 40 to 60% off all homewares in Manchester, 30 to 50% off all clothing, footwear and underwear, and 20 to 30% off all electrical. Ends 1st of December. Shop great brands at great prices in store or online.
One look at South Australia's CTP choices shows that SGIC wears the state colours on their sleeve. The wonders of data, eh? Choose SGIC, helping South Australians since 1972.
Black November ends Sunday at Nick Scali's. We must clear our floor stock and discontinued lines up to 30, 40 and 50% off. Our floor stock must go. Limited stock ends Sunday. Black November at all Nick Scali's stores. Hurry.
My life is very complicated.
The explosive mid-season return of Stan's smash hit Power.
This ain't no negotiation.
The brand new season of Power Book 2 Ghost returns December 6 only on Stan.
Look at you. No braces and all the internet you can handle. I wasn't so lucky.
Invis is not your parents' braces. Invis is predictable, less painful, more comfortable. Invisalign.
Please, help me! I want anybody help me!
Australia's Harriet Dyer.
If you want to leave here, tell me where to find you.
She sees what no one else can.
Visions and communication with the dead.
And solves the crimes no one else touches. Brand new drama.
I can help you.
The In-Between. Exclusive to 9 Now. Your world of free entertainment.
There's been a setback in the development of the Oxford coronavirus vaccine. Scientists in the US have revealed its 90% success rate was only the result of tests on people aged under 55. It's raised fears the jab may not work as well on older people, leading to the need for another global trial. Oxford says it won't delay the vaccine's rollout.
The UK is bracing for a new set of coronavirus restrictions that will replace the current lockdown. From the 2nd of December, areas across the nation will be placed into a 3-tiered system from low to high risk. Most of England, including London and the Liverpool City region, will sit in the 2 toughest levels of restrictions.
Well, Donald Trump claims he will leave the White House peacefully if the Electoral College decides Joe Biden has won the presidency. For the first time since the election, the president took questions from reporters during a Thanksgiving address, coming the closest yet to a concession.
On a day of peace and gratitude, the president ended his 3-week standoff with reporters.
Will you concede your
It's going to be a very hard thing to concede, because we know there was massive fraud.
Donald Trump finally answering questions in the Capitol about when and how he will leave the White House.
Are you not going to leave this building?
Just so you... certainly I will. Certainly I will. And you know that. But I think that there will be a lot of things happening between now and the 20th of January. A lot of things.
But his ceasefire with the media didn't last long.
You're just a lightweight. Don't talk to me that way. Don't talk to... I'm the president of the United States. Don't ever talk to the president that way.
The president lashing out too at his replacement, Joe Biden.
Don't let him take credit for the vaccines, because the vaccines were me, and I pushed people harder than they've ever been pushed before.
And that vaccine couldn't come fast enough, with millions of Americans ignoring health advice to get together for the holiday. As cases spike, doctors say it's only a matter of time before the death rate follows, with predictions in 10 days it could nearly double to 4,000 fatalities a day. President-elect Joe Biden and his wife Jill hoping to lead by example, rethinking their traditional family get-together.
We won't be doing that this year. This year we're going to be staying in Delaware with just a small group around our dinner table.
The annual Macy's Thanksgiving Parade through the empty streets of New York.
Let's have a parade!
Scaled back with few spectators, but a New York tradition that not even a pandemic could destroy. In Washington, D.C., Tim Avia, 9 News.
A dramatic near miss has been captured on dashcam in Texas. A police officer jumps out of the way of an out-of-control van as it barrels towards him. It's believed the driver had fallen asleep at the wheel, flipping his vehicle. No one was hurt. A group of men have walked away nearly unscathed from this high-speed crash. They were travelling home from a party in southern India when the accident happened. Police say they weren't wearing seatbelts. All 7 only suffering minor injuries. Hundreds of people involved in a coup against Turkish President Erdogan, including army officers, pilots and civilians, have been jailed for life. More than 250 people were killed in the 2016 plot, which saw warplanes, helicopters and tanks seized by rogue soldiers. This is what $180,000 of spilled wine looks like. A woman going on a bizarre rampage through an Aldi store in the UK. Pulling hundreds of bottles to the floor, lobbing gin across the room. The woman remained silent for the attack, which lasted about 5 minutes. She was arrested and treated for cuts to her hands.
Clashes have broken out between police and Diego Maradona fans as thousands of Argentinians turned out to farewell the soccer legend in the heart of Buenos Aires. Maradona's family ended public viewings of his coffin after crowds threw fences and bottles at officers. His body was transported to a small cemetery to be buried alongside his parents.
A couple in New York have gotten more than they bargained for with their new home, finding 66 bottles of whiskey from the Prohibition era hidden within the walls and floorboards of the property. Digging into the history of the home, the new owners discovered it was built in 1915 and belonged to a bootlegger. Some of the bottles are worth more than $1,000. Take a look at this massive water spout swirling off the coast of Libya. It was an incredible sight, the funnel of water spiralling in the waters off the Mediterranean Sea.
The major change to the nation's healthcare system that will make it easier and cheaper to see a doctor. The full details are next. Plus, fresh hope to stop the spread of bowel cancer.
Get set for an unmissable night with Australia's biggest stars. The Good On Your Mate concert, Saturday 7:30 on 9.
Sometimes even the best tenants can cause damage to your investment property that standard building insurance may not cover. Terry Shear, Australia's leading landlord insurance specialist, provides the cover you need for your property and rental income. Have confidence that your investment property is in safe hands.
As a first-time investor, Terry Shear provides the security I need.
Call Terry Shear or go online.
Let me be great, let me be witty, let me be so ditty in every state and city. How about let you do a double take? I don't need your money, I don't need your credit. I'm a superwoman, I let you watch me fade.
Go full Christmas for less with water hammocks, Wahoo Mega pool packs, and a giant inflatable water park. This Saturday, only at Aldi.
Miller's big Black Friday shopping frenzy is on now. Almost everything 40% off. Tops, pants, caftans, 40% off. Don't miss Miller's biggest ever 40% off Black Friday sale in store and online now.
Turn your backyard into a stay-at-home sanctuary with Just Spas. Australian-made spas from just $6,990 and swim spas and plunge pools from $14,990. We've got the ideal solution for you. Contact-free delivery available. Find a better way to backyard with Just Spas Adelaide.
Craving adventure? Portuguese-style chicken, flame-grilled, 100% flavor, 100% Australian chicken, made fresh every day. Adventure awaits.
Harvey Norman Big Friday. Big deals store-wide, one day only. Save $30 on the SodaStream Jet Drink Maker, now only $39. That's nearly half price. Hisense king-size 65-inch 4K smart TV. Hot price, only $895. This silver Hisense side-by-side fridge is great value at just $998. Stores open late tonight with more Big Friday deals, plus 60 months interest-free with bonus gift card. At Harvey Norman, do not miss out.
Go!
Could it get any bigger than this? Yes, it can. With the BCF Black Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday sale. Yeah, beauty. Save $60 on this Wanderer 25-litre icebox. How cool's that?
BCF and fun. Hey!
Bats out of hell. This noisy colony moved into Kathy and Ray's backyard and won't leave. So they've taken matters into their own hands. A current affair next.
Victoria has fired the first shot in the battle to steal the Qantas headquarters away from Sydney. The airline won't announce any decision on a relocation until early next year, sparking a potential bidding war.
2 days after the first post-COVID flight from Sydney to Melbourne, the Qantas CEO made the trip himself to tour Melbourne's airport precinct and meet the Premier. Up for grabs, the Qantas HQ, which currently employs 5,000 people at Mascot.
If there's an opportunity for the state of Victoria, we'll grasp it.
When Queensland's borders open next week, Alan Joyce has a standing invitation to go there too. If the New South Wales government is nervous, it isn't showing.
I think the way that Queensland have behaved around their borders, why would you take that risk? The way the Victorian government has managed its contact tracing and quarantine, why would you take that risk?
Qantas has also had a win in the federal court, upholding its decision not to pay sick leave to stood-down workers. But that comes with a hit to its reputation. Unions claiming the so-called spirit of Australia is a moral failure.
It shouldn't have fought workers to the second highest court in the land to deny them from their sick pay.
Peter Seymour worked for Qantas for 31 years. He was undergoing radiotherapy for prostate cancer when he received an email saying he could no longer access sick leave and must go on JobKeeper.
When you have to have a PET scan and it's $600 and you don't have it, you have to borrow it from your family.
The court backed Qantas's view that sick leave couldn't be paid when there was no work to be absent from. The airline says employees can access annual and long service leave as well as JobKeeper.
That was just like a huge slap in the face.
Jane Azzopardi, 9 News.
A temporary transformation in how we receive medical treatment is set to become permanent, with the federal government today announcing telehealth is here to stay. Here's Charles Croucher.
The telehealth concept wasn't born out of COVID-19, but it was certainly boosted. Now, more than 40 million consultations have taken place via video link, telephone or text between Australians and their doctor, specialist and even dentist. Prescriptions can be emailed directly to pharmacies, with medication then mailed directly to patients. It wasn't a permanent plan, but tonight that plan has changed. Telehealth services will continue beyond 2020. They'll be covered by Medicare and can be bulk billed. Here's the Health Minister.
There's not been much good that's come from COVID. One thing that has come from COVID is the fact that we have skipped a decade and jumped from 2030 to 2020 for the delivery of telehealth for all Australians.
The Australian Medical Association has given this the tick of approval. However, they'll push to promote the special place the family GP has in Australia's health system.
Well, medical researchers say gene therapy could be a promising new way to treat patients who have bowel cancer that has spread to the liver. The technique is now being tested for several other cancers.
Hannah Devereaux doesn't fit the usual profile of someone who's had bowel cancer. She was diagnosed at 34, her symptoms dismissed as pregnancy-related.
I had the baby, he was 10 days old, and they found 2 tumours and my world came crashing down.
She's hit the 5-year cancer-free milestone. Others aren't so lucky.
What we're looking for here is an answer to the 14 Australians that die every day from bowel cancer.
Human tissue samples show patients with the poorest prognosis have a lot of normal cells called fibroblasts corrupted by the cancer, fueling it. But there are also good versions of these cells that slow the disease.
Most bowel cancers will spread to the liver.
Which is why the liver was targeted in mice experiments. Researchers used a modified virus to only infect the liver and introduce a copy of the gene to make more of these good cells. Doing this shrunk the tumour.
We're very excited by these results.
A similar type of gene therapy is currently being used on patients with blood disorders, but this is the first promising sign it could help to treat cancer that has spread to the liver.
Most bowel cancers spread to the liver, but there's also other gastrointestinal cancers and breast and lung cancer that are also spread to the liver.
A novel approach that might one day spare more lives.
I really remember not knowing at points if I was going to make Christmas.
Gabriella Rogers, 9 News.
A Brett Whiteley painting has smashed Australian art record, selling for $6.1 million at auction last night. Henry's armchair was sold to an unnamed buyer from Sydney. The canvas, which combines oil, ink and charcoal, was inspired by French artist Henri Matisse.
Well, great news this Friday for children all around Australia. Santa and his helpers have been granted an extra special exemption and will be able to make their Christmas deliveries this year. The government declared the man in red an essential worker and he won't have to quarantine when he flies into the country on Christmas Eve. As part of the exemption, Santa has been told he must deliver all presents after bedtime to minimise contact. Good move. Well, sports up next with Warren Treadray. Treaders, what's the exciting news for motorsport fans?
Well, if you're a fan of the V8s, the Bend has locked in its dates for the supercar, so it's great news for SA the motorsport fans, that is. We're live with the latest next. Plus, welcome back. The Aussies in control in their opening match of the summer, and a retired footy star gets a very different tag.
Australia's accident scandal. Why this family's now paying a huge price after a car ploughed into their home. A current affair next.
Bold choice. Yeah. Bold taste.
Fanta. Bold choice, bold taste.
Looks pretty good, eh?
Food's almost ready. Put it on. Yay!
Bring home a little magic this Christmas.
So it's between that one and this one.
Make the choice easy. Get a 3.9% comparison rate across the Corolla hatch and sedan range. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
After a long, hot day, there's only one thing you want: the comfort of home. The home of just chillin'. Gasworks have everything to make your home cool and comfortable this summer. Gasworks, the home of comfort.
At Drake Supermarkets, we've got ingredients for beach days with Pepsi or Schweppes 24-pack $14.40. And for work days with Helga's Bread, price drop to $3.90. Drake Supermarkets.
Ingredients for every day.
Healthy skin starts with new Cetaphil Face with hyaluronic acid. It helps protect the health of sensitive skin with cleansers and moisturisers that give gentle, effective daily care. Healthy skin starts with Cetaphil.
Shaver Shop's Black Friday sale. Save up to 80%. VS Sassoon Smooth and Wave Styler only $39. Save 80%. Homedics Duo IPL now $99. GHD Air Hairdryer only $170. Shaver Shop's Black Friday sale on now.
Bring on the dirtiness, muddiness, sauciness, and how did that get under theiriness? Because with a great range of cleaning solutions, Godfrey's gives you cleanliness.
My dentist said enamel should be great on the outside and on the inside.
Go Pro with Oral-B Pro Health. It's formulated with active strength technology that strengthens enamel on the inside. Plus, it protects the outside from erosion. Go Pro with Oral-B Pro Health.
Next week on Today, all the stars will be here. Kevin Costner and Jane Lynch. Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro?
What are you doing?
What
is that?
You know who else? 50 Cent is in the house as well.
You're shorty. It's your birthday.
See you next week, hopefully.
Australia has immediately put India on the back foot in the first one-dayer, thanks to blistering centuries from Aaron Finch and Steve Smith. The Aussie batsman dismantled the tourist bowling attack, posting 6 for 374.
United in a stand against racism. Australia and India took to the SCG barefoot before paying their respects to a trailblazer of one-day cricket. It's fair to say Dino would have enjoyed the Aussie game plan.
Risky from French.
The openers found their groove before a pair of protesters halted the game briefly, although security seemed in no hurry to remove them. In contrast, the skipper was pushing hard.
He was sweating on that Aaron Finch and he puts it away nicely.
6 years to the day since the death of Philip Hughes, Finch dedicated his half-century to his good mate. After a steady start, Warner joined him and the party tricks followed.
Oh, hello, the reverse.
I like it.
Got away with it too.
It signalled time to open the shoulders.
Man goes back on the rope. He can't go back that far.
After a 156-run opening stand, Warner thought he'd got away with one until DRS sealed his fate on 69. It didn't halt the captain. Smith was given his marching orders but secured a reprieve. And another followed not long after.
What's he done there?
Virat Kohli couldn't quite believe it, and his opposite number only made matters worse.
The first 100 of the summer. It's the first one for Aaron Finch at the SCG.
The mistakes kept coming. And while the tourists finally dismissed Finch, they still had Smith.
It's all the way for 6.
And Maxwell to contend with.
That could be 6, it is. That's a freaky shot.
The Aussies laughing all the way to a mammoth total and possibly the perfect start to summer. Braden Ingram, 9 News.
New St Kilda defender James Frawley has revealed what brought him out of retirement. The 32-year-old showing off his new colours today. A couple of holiday beers with Saints assistant Jared Roughhead, talking him into playing a 15th season.
I had a few beers with Ruffy up in Noosa and just got chatting and he said, the St Kilda might be keen. And first I heard of it, so I was a bit surprised and then it pretty much went from there.
The Hawthorn Premiership player has signed a 1-year deal. Some great news for motorsport fans in the state, with the Bend confirming its round in next year's Supercars series. For more, we go live to Tom Wren. And Rennie, when will it be held?
Well, Treaders, the Bend will host the 5th round of next year's series over the weekend of May 7 to 9, which also happens to be Mother's Day. Now, the race format is yet to be revealed, but it is believed it will again be a sprint event. Now, this is a massive announcement, as you say, for motorsport in South Australia. It will be the only round of the Supercars in SA next year, following the government's decision to pull out of the Adelaide 500. In some further good news too, for the first time, kids 15 and under will be free at next year's event. That's going to be at the Bend, of course. So, Treaders, you could take the kids and maybe make it a Super Mother's Day in 2021. What do you reckon?
Sounds good, Rennie. Sounds good. A great result. Well, Leicester City has left it late to snatch a dramatic draw in the Europa League. Captain Jamie Vardy netting the equaliser with the final kick of the game.
Vardy! An astonishing conclusion to the game. In the 5th minute of stoppage time, Jamie Vardy slides it home for 3-3.
Meantime, Tottenham and Arsenal both remain undefeated and progress to the knockout stage of the competition following comfortable wins. Houston pull out all the tricks against Detroit in Thanksgiving Day football.
Duke Johnson tosses it back. And wide open is Fuller for the touchdown. Are you kidding?
I mean, this is unbelievable.
The Texans beating the Lions by 16 points, while Washington waved bye-bye to the Cowboys' playoff hopes. Dallas going down by 25 points to their divisional rival. Well, as a footballer, he earned a reputation as a serial pest. Now Hayden Ballantyne could become a favourite with punters. The former Docker is now a horse trainer and he is saddling up Mankind in tomorrow's $1 million Winter Bottom Stakes in Perth.
It's much more intense, the feeling. I'm a bit weird. I like that anxiety before a game or before a race. I really get a kick out of it. So it's it's something that keeps me in my element.
Ballantyne hoping to follow in the footsteps of dual premiership coach Dennis Pagan, who stole the spotlight on Derby Day. Ballantyne was a dead set pest, but you would love to play him in your footy team. He was very good, that sport.
Great stuff. Thanks, mate. Another score to tomorrow, but cool relief isn't far behind. Chelsea Kerry has the weekend weather next, but now here's tomorrow's speed counters.
Tune into the 5AA Breakfast Show weekdays from 6 a.m. for breaking news, weather and traffic in and around Adelaide.
Bats out of hell. This noisy colony moved into Kathy and Ray's backyard and won't leave, so they've taken matters into their own hands. A current affair next.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
For a limited time only at Amart Furniture, we've got our Mega Black Friday sale with up to 50% off store-wide on hundreds of items. So what are you waiting for? Amart Furniture, on sale this week only.
Hello. Ooh, carrots.
We grow 'em for Woolies.
Oh.
Oh, would the guys like some?
No.
It's Christmas.
If you insist. And one more for you. Oh. Let's go. Hey, up. Be good. Sharing the spirit of Christmas. Woolworths.
The St John Christmas Home Lottery is back and it's bigger than ever. With over 30,000 prizes, there's a 1 in 5 chance of winning a prize. The grand prize package includes this stunning Samuel James mansion, a marina front holiday home, a Range Rover, a fishing boat and $250,000 cash. Buy your ticket before midnight Sunday to be in next week's draw to win a $5,000 spending spree at Shields. Buy your ticket today.
At Australian Outdoor Living, we know how special home is. It's your piece of paradise where the best memories are made. Our quality outdoor home improvements bring your backyard dreams to life with custom patios, pergolas and verandas, premium artificial grass and stylish outdoor blinds. Put your home in hands you can trust. Australian Outdoor Living, bringing backyard dreams to life.
Australian Outdoor Living. Biggest brands, best prices, like reverse cycle roomies from $4.99, inverter splits from only $5.49, or replacement ducted units from just $24.90. Air conditioning, warehouse sales, Salisbury, Richmond and Lonsdale. Airwaresales.com.au.
Introducing new Gillette Skin Guard, a revolutionary technology to reduce pressure from your shave and reduce irritation on your face. Gillette Skin Guard, clinically proven for sensitive skin.
Take control with the Remington Quick Room Body and Back Roomer. The dual-sided blade provides ultra-close trimming for a smooth look. Easily reach back hair and use wet or dry. Remington's Quick Room Body and Back Roomer. Available only at Shaver Shop.
It's time for the Super Cheap Auto Black Friday 5-day sale. Get this Mighty Car Mods roller seat for $79.99 and an Alco Limit digital breathalyzer $99.99. Half price.
Everything auto, much more.
Anna Kendrick and Justin Timberlake in a crazy hit adventure.
Everyone deserves to be happy.
Trolls, tonight on 9Go.
Taking a look at finance news now, the All Ordinaries ended the day trading down nearly 0.5%, and one Aussie dollar will fetch 73.8 US cents and 55.2 British pence.
Now for the weekend weather, here's Chelsea.
Well, it's beautiful here at Henley Beach because we're starting to get this sea breeze, but it has been a scorcher today. In the city, we reached a top of 40.6 degrees. Right now, it's still sitting on 37. It's been hot and dry across the suburbs. Very warm in the north. Elizabeth made 43, Mawson Lakes made 42, and it's been in the high 30s along the coastline. Now, temperatures soared right across the north of the state. A dry 44 degrees at Port Augusta, Port Pirie and Whyalla. Roseworthy nearly hit 45 degrees and Kadina topped out at 43. Murray Bridge and Keith also reached 43. It was 44 in the Riverland. There was some relief on Hindmarsh Island with a pleasant looking 31. And hot winds are driving up temperatures across South Australia with severe heatwave conditions over inland areas, and those winds will intensify ahead of a cool change tomorrow. So looking very hot and windy before that change moves through. And that system will will arrive in Melbourne tomorrow night, bringing a shower or two. Back home, hot and windy across the north, up to 47 degrees at Roxby Downs, 46 at Port Augusta. These temperatures are well above average for this time of year, and the winds could whip up dust as they roll through. There is also the chance of a shower around Whyalla, Clare and Maitland. Up to 46 degrees at Renmark, 40 in the Barossa. The change will roll over the coast at first, so much cooler at Kingscote and Victor Harbour, just in the mid-20s there. We'll also see some heavier showers along the coast. Now, severe to extreme fire danger tomorrow for much of the state, prompting total fire bans across those areas, including the mid-north and Mount Lofty ranges. And marine wind warnings have been issued for most of the coastline as that change rolls through. Picking up on local waters as well, winds increasing to 25 knots and seas reaching 2 metres. Across Adelaide, a very hot morning, heading for 39 at Elizabeth, 35 at Glenelg. Then that change will roll through. We could see a few showers later on and into the evening. In the city, a top of 38 degrees before that change rolls through. Looking at a milder day on Sunday, fine with a top of 24. And at this stage, for the first day of summer on Tuesday, Brenton, okay, of course, then the showers arrive.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Thank you very much, Chelsea. And thanks for your company. That's the latest from the team on this Friday.
Will McDonald presents Nine's Weekend News with developments on our web and social media sites. Now, though, here's Tracy with a current affair. Enjoy your night.